Good morning, students, and welcome to your online video lecture with me, Mr. French. Today, we will study Unit 1 of your student book, Breakthrough Plus 2. Now, if you haven't done so already, it's a really good idea to go to the front of your book and you can see a download code here. So what you need to do is go to the website, which is listed here in the front of your book, and you can enter this code, which will give you the digital book, which is a very, very useful tool to study with. So in this lecture today, you will need three things. Number one, your student book. Number two, a notebook. And number three, a pen. So let's get started. So if you don't have those things, go ahead right now, pause this video, and you can go and get those. So we're going to start today's lesson. And this is Unit 1, Lifestyles. In Unit 1, we're going to talk about your morning and daily routines. These are things you do every day, including sequences. Number two, how to ask and answer questions about routines using frequency adverbs. And number three, how to make sentences for routines with he and she. So let's go and start the first lesson. Question is, what do you do in the mornings? Or what do you do in the evenings? So this should be the same thing you do every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same. We need what we called sequences. These are called sequences, and these are first, then, after that, later, and finally. Now in the numbers here, 1 through 14, we have various verbs, and I want you to open your notebooks, and you're going to spend 3 minutes, and I want you to fill in the blanks. Okay, see you in a minute. So let's look at number 2. Blank dressed. It means wear your clothes or put on your clothes. This one is get dressed. And we pronounce it with one sound, dressed, dressed. Do not say dressed. It is only one sound, dressed. So get dressed. Number 3, have breakfast or have dinner. Or you can say eat. Number 4, take a shower. Number 5, prepare my bag. So these may be things you do in the morning. Number 6, take the bus or subway to school. Number 7, use or check my phone. Number 8, watch TV. Number 9, on my makeup. This one is put on my makeup. Number 10, a shave. The correct verb is have. Now these are items you may do in the evenings. And number 11, my friends meet. Number 12, go out for dinner. Number 13, bowling. is go bowling. Don't say play bowling, we're going to say go bowling. And number 4 is go to the movie theatre. So here we have a mixture of actions you can do every morning or every evening. Don't forget to include the sequences at the top of the page. So these are very important to memorize these. First I, then I, after that I, later I, and finally I, plus your verb action sentence. Okay, so when we take the test, midterm test, or the final test, and I ask you this question, what do you do in the mornings? Or what do you do in the evenings? You need to include the sequences plus this sentence. So you'll need 5 different sentences. The next part is what we call adverbs of frequency. Frequency just means how often you do something. So we have 100% always, 98% nearly always, 80% often, 50% sometimes, 20% occasionally, 5% rarely, 1% hardly ever, and 0%, of course, is never. Now, to make a sentence with these adverbs of frequency, you need to do it like this. You need the subject, you need your adverb of frequency, then you need your verb action, and you need extra information. In this case is the day, or the part of the day. So let's look at the example here. Subject is I, adverb of frequency is often, our verb action is go bowling, and an extra information here is on Saturday nights. Notice I had an S on the end. Why? It's something you do every Saturday night. So if it's the same action you do again and again and again, we can add an S onto the end of the sentence. Now, let's look at how we can add more information into a sentence, such as who you do the action with, or how long you do the action for, or maybe even what kind of something. For example, I sometimes go to the movie theatre. Here we have our extra information with my friends. And here I have when on Friday nights. Okay. So I add the extra information just before the end of the sentence. Okay, you got it? Now we're making questions. To make questions, whoops, excuse me. When we make a question about routines, we don't need to use the frequency adverb in the question. So we don't ask, do you always watch TV? We're just going to ask, do you, or do you ever watch TV? Very simple. But we can add, if you want, the part of the day or the day at the end of the sentence. So for example, do you watch TV in the evenings? Of course, you can change in the evenings to another part of day. And here they are. You can say in the mornings, in the afternoons, in the evenings. So those all use in. We've got at night. This one is at. On weekends. And this one is on. And on Saturdays. This one is also on. So we've got 3 things here. We've got in and at and on. This These parts of day you should memorize for the test. That's important. Now, here's another important thing. When we ask a question with do you, we should first answer the short answer, yes, I do, or no, I don't, and then we can give extra information. But really important, don't forget to answer here and here before you continue. Here's an example. Do you meet your friends on Mondays? No, I don't, but I often meet them on weekends. So I gave you the short answer, and here I gave you extra information. So now we're going to look at the pictures. I want you to fill in the blank here with the action. So first you need to look at the picture, and then you're going to fill in the blank with the picture action. Then you're going to answer the question. Here is your frequency adverb, and here is the action, which will be the same as the picture. Okay, so let's go and look at number one. We'll do together. Number one, do you? And the action is, of course, drink coffee or have coffee. The answer, yes, I do. I. Now we have 100%, of course, as always. And now we need to repeat the action, drink coffee. In your notebooks, I'd like you to fill in the blanks for numbers 2, 3, and 4. I'll give you 2 minutes. Remember, you can always pause this video if you need more time, but let's move on right now. Number 2, do you in the mornings? The action is have breakfast. The answer is no, so it must be no, I don't. Now we have 0%. 0%, you know, is never. And here we're going to repeat the action, have breakfast. Number 3, do you in the evenings? Action, watch TV. Answer, yes, I do. I, 80%. 80% is often. And here we repeat the action, watch TV. Number 4, do you ever? With your friends, this action is go bowling. Now here we're not going to say yes or no exactly because we only have 5%. So it's a very, very small number. So in that case, you could use well. So it's not yes, but it's not no. So we could use well, actually. Here we have 5%, which is rarely. And here we're going to repeat the action, which is go bowling. So again, during the speaking test, if I ask you a question, do you blah, 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 you have to answer yes I do, no I don't, plus your adverb of frequency, plus your action. Now, in order to make sentences with he or she, so we're looking at he or she. So he could be your father, your best friend, your brother, your teacher. She may be your mother, your sister, your best friend, your grandmother. He or she, we need to add s or es onto the end of the verb. So I go changes to he goes. I have, she has. I get, he gets. Really important when you're speaking in English to pronounce the s sound very strongly. S, s, s. To make a sentence, we use a subject, an adverb of frequency, our verb action with s, and when. Subject she, adverb of frequency always, verb action gets up, and when? At 7:30. When we're talking about time, we always need to use at. Okay? So when we use time, use at. However, when we have 2 days or 2 times, we need to use from and to. So she works from Monday to Friday, from 9 to 5. So from is like the start and to is like the end. So now you can turn to page 6 in your student books. Now here we have 3 people. We have Vicky, we have Karina, and finally we have Ken. Together, I want you to speak at home, and I want you to help me make these sentences. Now her name is Vicky, so sentence number 1 is here. Sentence number 2 is here. Number 3 is here. Number 4 is here. And number 5 is here. Okay. We can introduce Vicky by saying her name, Vicky. That's number 1. But when we make sentences 2, 3, 4, and 5, you don't need to say Vicky, 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 Vicky. You can change the subject to she, 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 she. Okay, so number 1, Vicky, blah, blah. Number 2, she. Okay, so let's make sentence number 1. Vicky always, what is the action? The action is wake up, but we need to include S. So Vicky always wakes up at 7:30. Once more, Vicky always wakes up at 7:30. Number 2, we can use she. The verb action is works, works. Sentence, she works from Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. Once more, she works from Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. Works. Number 3, we're going to say she. The verb action here is gets home, gets home. So, sentence, she usually gets home at 6 p.m. Once more, she usually gets home at 6 p.m. Number 4, again, she. The verb action here is meets her friends, meets her friends. Sentence, she meets her friends. Here it says 2 times. I'm going to change that to twice. So we're going to say once, twice, or 3 times. If you see 1 time, you're going to say once, 2, twice, 3 times. Per week, per just means every week. So let's make number 4 again. She meets her friends twice per week. And finally, number 5. Again, she often. Now the verb action here is watches TV, watches TV. So she often watches TV when? Well, it looks like at night. So she often watches TV at night. We're going to do the same thing for Karina. This time I'm going to speak a lot faster, and I want you to repeat after me at home. Karina, number 1. Karina always starts school at 9 a.m. Karina always starts school at 9 a.m. She cooks dinner 7 days per week. She cooks dinner 7 days per week. She usually tidies her room on weekends. She usually tidies her room on weekends. She hardly ever studies at night. She hardly ever studies at night. She never goes to bed late. She never goes to bed late. Finally, we're going to look at Ken in a minute. I want you to fill in the blanks for Ken. First, we're going to look at picture number 1. I'm going to help you with the verb actions. Verb action number 1 is works. Number 2, takes a shower. Number 3, goes to bed. Number 4, meets his friends. And number 5, calls his wife. So, open your notebooks, look at the picture, and I would like you to fill in the blanks. Again, 2 minutes, please. Okay, let's take a look at the answers. Again, if you need more time, of course, you can always pause the video and go back. Okay, number 1, can work 6 days per week from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Number 2, he always takes a shower at 1 a.m. Don't forget, students, with time, you always need to say at. Number 3, he usually goes to bed at 2:30 a.m. Number 4, he meets his friends on Sunday evenings. And number 5, he often calls his wife at lunchtimes. So if you got 5 out of 5, congratulations, well done. Just a quick note on these pictures. It may be during the speaking test, for example, that you could see this picture and you have to speak each sentence. So it's very important you know how to make the sentences for he and she. Okay. Now, if you turn to page 5 in your student books, get a pen. I want you to look at number 1. So we're going to look at number 1 here, and we're going to match all of these to the pictures over here. So you just need to write A, B, C, D, etc. I'll give you 1 minute to complete number 1. Right, let's go ahead and look at the answers. Number 1, skip breakfast, or don't eat breakfast. Maybe you have no time in the mornings. Let's picture H. Now remember, if you want to make a sentence for H, because it's he, you need to add S to the verb skip. So you will need to add S to change it to skips. Okay, so for picture H, you need to say he skips breakfast. Now remember, you can add an adverb of frequency. For example, always. He always skips breakfast. Number 2, make a cup of coffee. Let's picture F. Picture F. We have she. And there she is. Now remember, she or he, we need to add S to the verb. So in this case, we change make to makes. Number 3, go out with your friends. Let's picture A. And again, you can change it to goes. Number 4, check your email. Let's picture C. I'm going to change check to checks. Number 5, do your homework. Do your homework is B. I'm going to change this one to does. Does. If it's he or she, use does. That's D-O-E-S. Number 6, clean up your flat. Clean up your flat. That's picture D. Flat, oops, excuse me. Flat is British English for apartments. It just means apartment. So in England or Britain, we use the word flat, and it means apartment. Again, you can add S onto there and make it cleans. Number 7, call a friend is E plus S, calls. And number 8, take a shower. This one is G. And if you want to add he or she, you can make it like takes a shower. Finally today, you're going to take a look at number 2. And I want you to order the numbers from 1 through 8 in the correct order that you do them. So what's first? The first thing you do in the morning, of course, you wake up. That's number 1. Number 2, you get up. Now, wake up and get up are very similar, but wake up means open your eyes, and get up means really get out of bed and start doing things for the day. So again, I'm going to give you 1 minute. So get your pen or pencil, and I'd like you to write down the numbers 1 through 8. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Okay, don't worry if you run out of time. Again, of course, it's a pre-recorded video. You could just pause the video, but right now let's look at the answers. So number 1, wake up. Number 2, get up. Number 3 is get dressed. Get dressed, put on your clothes, wear your clothes. Don't say wear your clothes. You have to say get dressed. Okay, next, number 4 is go to college or go to work. College, university, school, all the same. Next, have lunch is number 5, of course. Next, what do we do next? Get home, that's number 6. Now, do you know the difference between go home and get home? Very important difference. Go home means you leave school or work, and then you begin to go home on the bus. Get home is when you arrive at your home or at your apartment. So it's the finish point is get home, and go home is the start when you finish school. So that's the difference between go home and get home. So what's next in our day? Next, we eat dinner, right? Number 7. And finally, of course, go to bed. Now in number 2, you will need to order the items. When we order the items, you remember we can go all the way back to the first part of our PowerPoint. There we go. You need these sequences over here, okay? First I, then I, after that I, later I, and finally I. Now, finally today, I want you to do a small piece of writing into your notebooks. I want you to write down 2 things. Number 1, your morning routine. Number 2, your evening routine. Number 1, morning routine. Number 2, evening routine. Now, there's no actual homework for this class that I give you a grade for, but I would like you to complete homework even though I will not give you a grade. So this is practice, and I would like you to write down your morning routine and your evening routine, including sequences: first, then, after that, later, and finally. So that's a little bit of homework you could do in your free time. So guess what? We finished today. Have a great day. That concludes today's lesson. Very important to check the announcement section on Cyber Campus. And you should check that each day. There may be some important message that you need to know. Other than that, thank you for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.